Hi Elvis fans, so this is a very emotional video, and once you watch it you'll understand why I'm saying that. So Elvis just gave up, and these are the words that Priscilla says right at the end of this video. Let's hear what is going to be said.
You know, he was who he was, and he controlled everything.
He was who he was. He controlled everything. I've watched so many videos, and the one thing that really comes across is that Elvis was in charge. He was at the helm. He was the captain of his ship, and he was going to do things his way, and everyone else was going to go along for the ride. But I will say this, he really did try to please everyone. So it wasn't that he would do things that were just wrong and unfair in a selfish way. It wasn't like that. He did his best to please everyone around him. He spent his whole life trying to keep everyone happy.
He was a very sensitive man that always wanted to portray himself as a very strong man. He was the type of guy that was always there, always would help you. Really didn't want you to help him.
And I've learned that about Elvis, that he was strong on the outside, soft on the inside, and always wanted to be the fearless one, the best at sport, and to give it his best shot at winning. It was just his nature. And to have this indestructible exterior, he definitely had a very caring, sensitive side to him. And always you could talk to Elvis if you had problems. He was always there for all of the Memphis Mafia and his close family and friends. And if they had problems within their own families or with their own relationships, Elvis was ready to talk to them and try and give good advice. And this happened many, many times.
He held the reins on the cart for as long as he could, and then he could no longer withstand that. It's not easy. I don't know a lot of people that have pulled it off, that haven't gone to self-destruction somehow.
And with the touching music in the background, Lisa Marie speaks, and she explains it very clearly. He held the reins. He couldn't carry on like that. There was so much pressure on him as being the man in charge, responsible for all these people, but also responsible for his own career, and the way he just had a work rate that was just too much for him. He worked way too hard and was performing way too many concerts. And he just got tired and worn out and fed up and disillusioned. It was so tough. And then you could just see it on him in his appearance.
He gained quite a bit of weight.
He abused his body so much from not being happy.
And it was like his body had just given up. He completely changed in his appearance, as we all know. And probably many, many reasons why he just looked so different and so shockingly unlike the Elvis that we had all fallen in love with. And I can't even explain how I feel when I think about this transition from Elvis in the early 70s, and he still looked amazing, to the Elvis in the last year who was literally like a different person.
I'm sure he looked at himself in the mirror and go, where was he going to go with this? Look, he was so bloated and out of proportion.
God, I went down to pat his hands, and they were just so swollen.
I think he just, in many ways, just gave up.
So this part of the video is very touching. It's when Priscilla says he had just gave up, and that when he looked himself in the mirror, he obviously knew what was happening to himself, what he was doing to himself. And I'm not fully in agreement with this, because I've watched so many videos and interviews that Elvis actually, because he was about to go on massive live concerts, was starting to lose weight and was planning the future. And when you look at interviews from his girlfriend, she also says that no, he still had the zest in him for life and that he was getting ready to begin again. And I like to finish off in that way, that he had an optimistic future and then just had this horrible heart attack that happened to him that actually upset his plans of the future. Now, this is just my point of view. I do think there was a period where he had become very, very disillusioned. But I also think he came through that and was getting ready to come back. That's just my opinion. Thanks a lot, everyone.